The room enveloped me in a tender warmth, the air surrendering to the heat radiating from my skin, igniting a spark of something forbidden and electric. My hands shook as the water cascaded over me, a bittersweet reminder of what I couldn't have. Each drop, a tender touch that stirred echoes of stolen moments. In that fragile instant, when hearts laid bare, everything shifted forever. The bathroom door opened quietly, revealing Richard, a towel draped in his hand. His dark eyes sparkled with an intensity that sent a shiver down my spine. He was more than just my husband's son. In that fleeting instant, he stood before me, a young man full of life, his yearning igniting a fire within him that seemed to outshine my own. My voice, barely a whisper, had urged him to fetch the towel, a simple request that ignited a tempest of feelings. When his fingers brushed against mine as he handed it to me, a spark ignited within me, a jolt that surged through my very being. My heart raced, rooted in place, unwilling to break the fragile moment between us. And then he moved closer, breath hitching, our bodies so near that the warmth of his skin intertwined with mine. Silence enveloped us, yet his hand on my shoulder spoke volumes, a gentle caress that held both longing and undeniable truth. I fought against it, I promise. My heart whispered my husband's name, Robert, his strong and unwavering presence, yet my traitorous body ached for Richard's desperate touch. His hands, firm yet tender, gripped my waist, drawing me closer with a desperate intensity that stole my breath away. The water cascaded down, a relentless whisper that silenced my feeble objections. His lips brushed against mine, and in that moment, everything else vanished, leaving just the wild rhythm of our hearts echoing in the silence. Each kiss ignited a fire, each touch a blaze that melted away my defenses. I held onto his shoulders, my nails digging into his skin as he lifted me. In that instant, my self-control faded, and I was drawn into a world I knew I should have left behind. Steam wrapped around us, a shroud hiding our shame. His every move was charged with an urgency that spoke of unspoken longing, as if passion had woven itself into the very fabric of his soul. As I hit the cold tiles, a shiver ran through me, yet the warmth of his body held me close, a forbidden comfort in the chill of the moment. It was more than just a meeting of our bodies. It was the clash of hidden desires, a shared solitude that found its voice in the shadows. Each brush of skin, each whispered breath felt like a secret I dared not speak. My heart raced, torn between desire and duty, whispering that this was forbidden, that he was Robert's son, and I was bound to another. But my body, yearning for a long-lost desire, gave in to every impulse, every heartbeat that intertwined us. The water cascaded over us, blending with our sweat, the heat of our bodies igniting a fire that couldn't be extinguished, as if it sought to cleanse the uncleanable. When it ended, the silence wrapped around them like a heavy shroud. Richard lingered, his forehead pressed against mine, his breath trembling in the charged silence between us. We remained silent, as if words could never capture the depth of what transpired between us. He walked away, leaving me shivering beneath the cascading water, the towel abandoned and forgotten on the cold tiles. I shut my eyes, desperate to find my footing, but the memory of his body pressed against mine lingered, haunting me. I felt a spark, a thrill coursing through me like nothing I had experienced in ages, yet the heavy shadow of guilt loomed over my heart. I wrapped myself in the towel, my skin still tingling from his touch, and stepped out of the bathroom, my heart racing with each unsteady step. The house loomed large and desolate, its silence heavy with secrets, as if it were aware of the unspoken truths that lingered within its walls. That night I found myself in our bed, the lingering scent of Robert enveloping me, a bittersweet reminder of what we shared. Yet my body refused to be still, ignited by the haunting memory of Richard, the ghost of his hands lingering on my skin, his breath a warm whisper against my neck. I fought against the truth, telling myself it was just a fleeting lapse, a weakness that would never resurface. Yet, beneath the surface I felt a shift, a long-buried part of me stirring to life. The emptiness Robert's absence carved into my heart, with his constant departures and late nights, led me to seek solace in Richard's embrace. Even as my heart ached from the sting of betrayal, an undeniable yearning pulsed through me. The weight of our unspoken moment lingered, making it impossible to meet his gaze the following day. We shared breakfast in quietude, the clinking of cutlery against plates echoing the delicate nature of what we had. But his eyes, those deep, searching eyes that pierced my soul, were calling out for me. And I, trembling, averted my eyes, afraid of the secrets they might reveal. Deep down, I understood he wasn't entirely at fault. I let it unfold, knowing the risks, yet unable to resist. Desire had wrapped itself around my heart, blurring the lines of reason. Yet deep down I understood that I couldn't turn back. Not just yet. The house, with its towering walls and hollow spaces, had turned into our secret partner. In a world where our guilt danced with each fleeting touch, where every stolen glance ignited a fire we dared not acknowledge. As I washed the dishes, a shiver ran down my spine, sensing him so close yet so far away. He remained silent, yet his fingers brushed against my back, a fleeting touch that felt almost like a dream. Yet it was beyond anything I could have ever dreamed. My skin tingled with anticipation, and as I turned, he stood there, so near that I could almost feel the warmth radiating from him. "I'm sorry," he whispered. Yet his gaze betrayed a longing that felt so wrong. And I, instead of pushing him away, lingered there, caught in a whirlwind of longing and remorse, aware that this was only the start. His hand on my back ignited a fire within me, an imprint that felt both thrilling and impossible to forget. I stood frozen, my hands slick with suds, as my heart raced wildly, threatening to reveal the secret I dared not speak. Richard remained still, his warm breath grazing my neck, and in that heavy silence filled with unspoken desires, I realized there was no way to retreat. The kitchen, cloaked in soft shadows and the gentle drip of the tap, transformed into a secret haven, where the constraints of the outside world slipped away. I turned slowly, my gaze locking onto his, and there he was once more, that spark of longing, that insatiable need mirroring my own. Our silence spoke volumes. Our bodies whispered secrets that words could never capture. His fingers glided softly along my arm, a touch that felt like a whisper of longing, and my skin ignited with a shiver I couldn't suppress. I struggled to recall Robert, the way his laughter felt so serious, the tenderness of his hands that once cradled me. Yet, his memory faded, overshadowed by Richard's warmth and the intensity of his gaze that stirred something deep within me. When his lips brushed against mine, it felt like plunging into a deep, dark void, where the lines between guilt and ecstasy blurred into one intoxicating experience. His kisses were intense, yearning, as if he sought to possess every hidden part of my heart. My trembling hands brushed against his chest, feeling the rapid thump of his heart beneath my fingertips. We swayed together, an unspoken rhythm that brought us to the counter, the chill of the surface biting into my back as he pressed closer, our bodies fitting like pieces of a secret. Each brush of skin ignited a fire, every breath a whisper of our unspoken longing. His presence consumed me, each heartbeat echoing the chaos within, a haunting reminder of what I was on the brink of losing, as if he too sensed that this fragile moment could slip away. And I, swept away by a whirlwind of feelings, held onto him tightly, my nails tracing his skin, our breaths intertwining in a desperate dance. Our movements lacked grace, driven instead by a primal desire, a yearning that had festered in the solitude of our existence. The house, cloaked in shadows and stillness, held our secret close, a silent witness to our forbidden connection. We fell to the ground, the chill of the marble stark against the heat that enveloped us, and in that moment, amidst soft gasps and secret murmurs, we gave in once more. Time blurred into a haze, a soft backdrop where only we mattered, our breaths mingling, our desires intertwining. Every meeting ignited a spark, drawing us closer, as if we were daring destiny to intervene. In the living room, bathed in the silver glow of the moonlight seeping through the curtains, his hands traced forbidden paths on my skin, each touch a whisper of a promise we dared not keep. In my room, on the sheets that still held Robert's lingering scent, our bodies entwined in a dance that felt both sacred and forbidden. With every brush of our skin, I sensed a piece of myself slipping away, yet something profound and hidden within me began to awaken. Richard stirred feelings within me that I thought were long forgotten, revealing a part of myself that he had yet to discover. Yet, with every stolen moment, the weight of guilt deepened, a haunting presence that lingered in the quiet spaces between us. As he walked away, the lingering warmth of his presence faded, and I caught a glimpse of myself in the mirror, an unfamiliar woman staring back, lost in a whirlwind of emotions. My eyes, once filled with a quiet acceptance, now flickered with a dangerous intensity that both thrilled and terrified me. I found myself lost in a whirlwind of emotions, questioning how I had let this longing take control of my heart. Robert was never meant to feel this way. He was flawed and distant, yet he remained my husband, the one I had vowed to share my life with, despite the unspoken barriers between us. Yet, the void he had created within me, those long, desolate nights and hollow exchanges, had been ignited by Richard's fervent touch. I fought against it, I promise. One morning as we sat across from each other, the weight of our secret hung in the air. I whispered that we couldn't continue, that this path would lead to our undoing. My words were resolute, yet my voice quivered, revealing the deep yearning that lingered within me. Richard's gaze met mine, his dark eyes brimming with a sorrow that shattered my heart. "I can't bear the thought of causing you pain," he murmured, his voice barely audible, laced with longing. But then his hand brushed against mine on the table, a fleeting touch that shattered my walls. That night we surrendered once more, our bodies entwined in the shadows, as if destiny had bound us to this eternal waltz. Each time we gave in, the weight of guilt grew, wrapping around us like a haunting embrace, familiar yet unwelcome, an uninvited guest in our secret world. I promised myself I would let go, that I would summon the courage to push him away, yet my traitorous heart ached for his closeness, his fire. Richard was more than an escape. He was a reflection of my deepest longings and my hidden flaws. Even though I understood the betrayal in every touch, I couldn't let go of the intoxicating life I experienced in his presence. The guilt lingered like a haunting whisper, wrapping around my heart, yet it couldn't extinguish the blaze that Richard had ignited within me. Every night, as silence enveloped the house, our bodies reached for each other, bound by an unseen thread that defied reason and morality. But then Robert's message came through, igniting a spark I thought I had buried deep. "I promise I'll return tomorrow." Those two words, so innocent, landed on me like a heavy weight, shattering the delicate equilibrium I had crafted between longing and guilt. The truth we had hidden in the darkness of our love emerged, sharp and undeniable. He was coming back, the one who had promised me forever, to our home, to our bed, to me. And I, forever touched by the hands of his son, found myself lost in a whirlwind of emotions, unsure of how to confront the truth that bound us. That night I fought the pull between us. I shut the door behind me, the world outside fading away as my heart raced with a blend of trepidation and desire. But Richard, sensing my inner struggle, softly tapped on the door. "Just this once," he whispered, his voice a haunting reflection of the longing that enveloped us both. I fought against the urge, but my hands betrayed me, twisting the knob as if drawn by an unseen force. There he stood, eyes glimmering in the shadows, his very being electrifying the air, as if a tempest were on the verge of breaking free. "You linger in my thoughts, a sweet ache I can't shake off," he whispered. Before I could utter a word, his lips captured mine, silencing any objections that lingered in the air. We collapsed onto the bed, a space once filled with dreams shared with Robert, now tainted by the heat of our desire. His hands brushed against my skin, a desperate urgency in every caress, as if he sensed the fleeting moments slipping away from us. Each touch whispered desperation. Every kiss lingered like a goodbye we both feared to face. My body surrendered beneath his, instinctively moving to a melody that felt both familiar and dangerously intoxicating. A whirlwind of whispers and stolen glances that enveloped us. Being with him awakened feelings I believed were long forgotten, and that terrified me more than anything, igniting a fire that illuminated every shadow of my soul. My fingers wove through his hair, pulling him nearer, as the world outside slipped away, leaving just the warmth of our bodies and the wild rhythm of our hearts. Yet, even in the height of ecstasy, Robert's image invaded my thoughts, his eyes brimming with assurance, his voice heavy with unspoken truths. Each gasp that slipped from my lips felt like a betrayal, every tremor a wound to the life I had crafted with him. But still I found myself unable to resist. Richard swept me away like a river, his youthful strength and raw desire filling the empty spaces left by the years apart from Robert. We swayed together, our bodies entwined in a dance that felt both exquisite and heartbreaking, until the moment of ecstasy enveloped us. A flash of light and darkness that left us breathless, holding on to one another like lost souls adrift in a tide of remorse. As the first light of dawn crept in, I realized Richard had slipped away, leaving only a whisper of his presence behind. The sheets still warm, held his scent, a bittersweet echo of their fleeting moments together. I rose unsteadily, my legs quaking beneath me, and caught a glimpse of myself in the mirror. The woman staring back at me was a stranger, her eyes filled with secrets and longing. Bright eyes skin-kissed by the warmth of the night, yet tinged with a whisper of fear, a trace of regret. Robert would be here in just a few hours and I was terrified. How could I mask the truth? Act as if nothing had shifted when my heart lay in pieces. As the familiar roar of his engine echoed through the air, my heart skipped a beat, caught in a moment that felt both thrilling and wrong. I willed a smile to my lips, adjusted my dress, concealing the fractures within me. Robert stepped inside, weary yet radiating that same warmth that had once captured my heart. He held me close, his grip steady on my back, and in that fleeting moment, I dared to dream that I could once again be the woman he loved. But then I saw Richard at the threshold, his gaze locking onto mine for a fleeting second, and the burden of our hidden truth overwhelmed me. As we sat at the table, I masked my true feelings, laughing at all the right moments, nodding along to Robert's tales of adventure, all while my heart whispered secrets of longing. Yet each word felt like a betrayal, every smile a fragile facade on the verge of shattering. That night, when Robert drew me close in our bed, a shiver ran through me. His caresses, once a source of comfort, now sent shivers down her spine, echoing a love that felt both distant and dangerously close. I shut my eyes, yearning to lose myself in him. Yet my traitorous thoughts summoned Richard, with his fierce gaze and insatiable desire. I despised myself for the way my heart ached for what was never meant to be. Robert lay beside me, unaware of the storm raging within. His peaceful breaths felt like a betrayal, a haunting reminder of the distance between us. I lay there wide awake, staring at the ceiling, consumed by the weight of a secret that seared my soul. How had I ended up here, trapped in this longing that felt both exhilarating and wrong? The nights transformed into a tempest, a chaotic dance of longing and remorse that shattered my heart. With Robert's return, the house transformed from our secret haven into a place filled with unspoken tension, where Richard and I could no longer hide our feelings. Now it was a world of illusions, where each glance, each fleeting brush of skin felt like a dangerous secret waiting to unravel. I longed to be the woman Robert dreamed of. Each morning I brewed his coffee, masking my true feelings with a smile as he shared his dreams. Every night, I found myself lying beside him, torn between desire and restraint. Yet my body, a traitor, held on to Richard's memory, while my soul bore the burden of a secret I dared not reveal. Each time Richard crossed my path in the corridor or sat across from me at the dining table, a tight knot formed in my chest, a blend of yearning and trepidation that stole my breath away. His gaze, electric and searching, sought out mine, but I averted my eyes, trembling at the unspoken truths they might reveal. Yet longing clings on with relentless tenacity. One afternoon, while Robert was caught up in a meeting in the city, I stood alone in the kitchen, my hands shaking as I sliced through the vegetables, each cut echoing the tension in my heart. Richard emerged quietly, his presence crackling in the air, igniting a tension that felt both thrilling and dangerous. "We can't keep pretending we don't feel this," he murmured, his voice barely above a whisper, filled with longing. I wanted to speak, to warn him that we were treading on dangerous ground, that this could ruin everything. But as I turned, he was so near that I could feel the warmth radiating from him. His fingers brushed against my wrist, a fleeting touch that should have meant nothing, yet it ignited a fire within me that I couldn't extinguish. In an instant, his lips found mine, and my fragile resolve shattered like glass, leaving only the thrill of the moment behind. We slipped into the living room, where the sunset's glow wrapped us in a warm golden embrace. His hands brushed against my skin, filled with a desperate need that whispered of unspoken desires and stolen moments. Every touch whispered secrets, every breath a reminder of the love we dared not claim. My body yielded to him, arching beneath his presence, as everything faded away to the heat of our skin and the cadence of our breaths. Time seemed to freeze, the house holding its breath, a silent witness to our secret. We gave ourselves to one another with a fervor that ached with longing, aware that every moment might be our final goodbye. As the world faded away, we lingered in that moment, wrapped in silence, my head resting against his chest, feeling the rhythm of his heartbeat as reality slowly crept back in. That night, as we shared a meal with Robert, my gaze refused to meet his. His tales of the office, his light-hearted laughter, pierced my heart like forbidden secrets I couldn't ignore. I was a stranger in my own life, donning the guise of loyalty while my heart and soul yearned for someone else, a love that felt both intoxicating and wrong. Richard sat across from me, his calm demeanor a stark contrast to the storm inside me. Each time his fingers brushed the rim of his glass, memories of his touch flooded back, and I was overwhelmed by a wave of guilt. I slipped away, whispering of a headache, and shut the bathroom door behind me. The steam enveloped me, the hot water cascading down, as if it could cleanse the weight of my choices. Yet the water fails to cleanse the soul, and the tears that mingle with it only deepen my weight of sorrow. I felt trapped in a whirlwind of longing and despair. With each passing day the deception grew, an overwhelming darkness that loomed, ready to consume me whole. I chose to bare my soul, letting these words flow in a desperate bid to lighten the burden that clings to my heart. Richard, I'm not sure if anyone will ever see this, or if I'll find the strength to share it, but I have to let these feelings spill out, to let the truth live, even if it's just here hidden away. I love Robert, or at least the memory of what we once shared. His absence has left me exposed, yearning for a connection I never realized I craved. Richard isn't merely a temptation. He reflects my solitude, awakening the desires I've kept hidden deep within. Even though I understand the gravity of our actions, a small part of me feels no remorse. He reflected the solitude I've harbored within, forcing me to face the shadows of myself I had long avoided. I can't bear the thought of losing Robert. The idea of shattering this family, my home, feels like a weight I can't carry. But I can't find a way to extinguish the flames that Richard has ignited within me. Each time I consider breaking free, ending this wild affair, my heart falters, yearning for his embrace, his fierce passion. I find myself ensnared, torn between the woman I am expected to be, and the one who lingers in the darkness, yearning for something more. This confession trembles on my lips, a desperate whisper for forgiveness, though I question if I am worthy of it. The weight of this secret is suffocating, and I can no longer bear it. I must confront the truth to mend what I've shattered, even if it costs me everything I hold dear.